don't know which way.
Is that what you were in?
I'll have them shoot you.
Everybody? Okay.
It's about the
Sign up, Chris.
All right.
Good. How about yourself?
Hey, you got another day.
But he don't have a purple shirt on, though.
I got a purple shirt too.
They give me I didn't wear it today. Two of us look like. Oh, yeah. We'd have walked into that one.
Okay, thank you.
I have no. I don't think so.
I guess I'll do it.
Or do you think he's not there?
Yeah, look. Last time, I don't think he
Not happy.
he was not happy with
We
that.
get it going.
Tattered and blazes.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
Yeah, me go have to get him.
Oh,
I
give
thought
me
I saw
another
him over
one.
there.
Tell them to get the meeting started.
Yeah.
Pork. I said, that's not going to help.
Anytime
Not gonna
before
help.
breakfast here. Okay. Got it. Where is it?
Just took it out of my.
Don't shake his hand. It's what?
29th.
We're gonna need a new
Yeah,
gap.
you had it on.
29th.
Talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Ready, Bob? Yes. At this time, I'll call to order the February 29, 2016 Joliet City Pre-Council meeting. The Honorable Mayor Bob Oderkirk presiding. Mayor?
Begin with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here?
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman. Here. Councilman Turk.
Here.
Are there any citizens to be heard on agenda items this evening? Seeing none, I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. First item I'd like to review with you is under the consent agenda, Memo 8916, which is a cost-sharing agreement with Centerpoint for a PACE bus route down into the Centerpoint development. This is the second year of the agreement. It's a 50-50 share. Last year, we had 6 additional bus shelters that provided advertising. So we had a revenue of approximately $17,000 from that additional advertising. And our share of the agreement is $15,587 and some change. And as you know, with the development continuing, with the train, recently the Heritage Corridor added another route, another train coming into Joliet, and we just see that continuing in the future and see at least this minimum of a bus route for employees down in the Centerpoint development is essential for continued economic development in the area there.
Mayor,
Yes.
do we get any rider numbers from this, Jim?
Yes, we have in the past. I can make sure that, and we had that last year, but it wasn't provided this year. So let me follow up on that
Thank you.
and get those numbers to you.
Mayor.
Yes.
Just to piggyback on this, Jim, have we completed an analyzation citywide of these bus depots for advertising? I know we started, I think Kendall or Alfredo started this, but is there a way to expand to help bring in additional shared revenue?
Well, a lot of that is dependent upon ridership and the demand from residents for bus stops at specific locations. And so when PACE determines that there's a threshold to justify an additional bus stop, they'll come to us and see if it, and talk to us about, is it just a bench with a sign, or does it justify a shelter being built there? And I think we've always agreed to allow a shelter if one is warranted.
So the merits are on PACE to contact us.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Then we have a liquor license issuance. And this is memo 91-16. So a public hearing was held on Wednesday, January 20th at 9:05 for the requested Class C new license location at 1005 through 1007 Essington. It's Liquor Town, and the applicant is Amisha Verma. No citizens appeared in opposition to at the hearing, and there are no outstanding monies owed to the city. Police, fire, and building departments have no issues with the license, and so based on these facts and findings at the hearing, the Liquor Commission is recommending approval of the license.
Mayor,
Yes.
well, maybe I'll ask you, is this a new license or is it just an existing license that's being?
It's a new license at the old, I guess an existing license.
I believe it is.
Sorry,
Yeah.
so it's the same license for what used to be there?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Right.
They're moving over stuff.
Council Memo 93-16 is an ordinance enacting sump pump regulations. Surprising we haven't had this issue historically, but this ordinance will establish guidelines so that people pumping water from their sump pumps don't pump it into the streets, which can cause drainage and icing problems in the wintertime, and they aren't allowed to pump it into their into an area that causes water to accumulate in the neighbor's yard as well. So this is an ordinance to provide that.
Quick question. Didn't we already have an ordinance, I had talked to someone, that says when you're taking the sump pump pipe, flexible pipe, for instance, or what have you, that you can't come closer to 10 feet from the sidewalk?
No, apparently there never was a local ordinance to that effect.
Okay.
So this will accomplish that goal,
All right, thank you.
certainly. Council Memo 94 is an ordinance amending our nuisances in the municipal code. It's a revision that specifically defines junk, rubbish, and debris, and this allows for more definitive enforcement by staff in what constitutes blighted property and the procedure for abating these types of nuisances. It includes a right of the city to remove the junk and debris, which is provided now under state law, and it also allows us to recover those removal costs. Questions? Item 95, Council Memo 95, is a preliminary plat for Water's Edge subdivision, planned unit development at the corners of Des Plaines Street and McDonough Street. Also approving the final plat for the planned unit development 2 and the third one as well. As you know, this is the Des Plaines Gardens area. The residents have been notified. They are leaving the property. There's only 16 occupied at this point in time. All of the residents of the current Des Plaines Garden are given first right to return to this new Water's Edge subdivision property. You've got approximately 21 single-family detached units, 32 duplex units located in 16 buildings, and 15 triplexes within 5 buildings along the, and there are detention lots as well. You've got in front of you a architectural rendering, and I think the Director of the Housing Authority, Mr. Simulton, is here if you have any specific questions about the development. Seeing none. Moving on to the
Excitement on me.
item 96-16, which is the vacation of a portion of an east-west alley located at 212 North Chicago Street. This is, the petitioner is First Midwest Bank, and they are going to be leasing what is currently known as the Turk Furniture Building, and renovating that building. And directly next door are their existing drive-through facilities. And so what they're requesting is a vacation of the alley space between the Turk Furniture Building and their current property, so that they can renovate the Turk Furniture Building and lease that and have a drive-through facility in what is currently the alley space. Kendall, if you could show, thank you, the current alley space. Utilities Department, Nicor Gas, AT&T, all the public utilities have given their consent to this vacation so that they construct new canopies for access directly to the building, and also ATM machines along the property. That's the third picture we have. And Jim Rolfe is also here this evening if you have any specific questions about their project.
Just real quickly, obviously it would enhance the business, and that's a plus in and of itself. But when we vacate these types of things, Jim, when we vacate it and they take control of it to enhance the business, they also take responsibility for it, right?
They take responsibility for it. We also had a appraised determined value of the alley portion at $3 a square foot, totaling $7,180, which is part of the resolution. So they're, in essence, purchasing that vacant prop. Once we vacate it, we're allowing them to purchase the property, which means they own it.
Well, and if you look at the alley in the picture, it's a patchwork of holes that have been filled in. So I think it's probably in better hands with First Midwest than it is with the city, to be honest. And it takes it off our maintenance rolls. I think it's a good move.
It's going to be great for downtown.
Yes.
Jim, just maybe to the neighbors that have alley garbage pickup, once that's blocked off, maybe we could just indicate to them what happens. I did have one of the businesses ask me what happens to their alley garbage pickup.
There will be, as part of the property recording and is in your motion, is that they will have private easement access for that purpose.
As long as we let the neighbors know.
Right.
Mayor?
Yes.
As everybody knows, the clock is kind of ticking for First Midwest Bank over at their current facility since they sold that building to the county for a future courthouse. And I just want to thank First Midwest Bank, and particularly Jim Rolfe and Julie McGrath is here for continuing to show their commitment to downtown Joliet. And, we appreciate that, and we appreciate your business, and we know you're going to continue to be a success in your new location. So thanks again.
Council memo number 97-16 is a vacation of a 50-foot by 280-foot portion of O'Neill Street for our pumping station. Actually, this is kind of follow-up to work that's already been done, and this project did recently receive an award, a design and engineering award from the Southwest Chicago Civil Engineers Society. So this is going to be utilized as a portion of this right-of-way because it's problematic to pave. We need it for access to the pumping station, and it is our property, and so we'll dedicate it for this use. Council memo number 99-16 is an intergovernmental agreement with PACE. As you know, we acquired the Ace Metals property, and we are going to utilize that for water detention for both the new train station and the new PACE bus station and the docking areas for all of the buses. At the south end of the property is an existing parking lot for PACE mechanics and those that work in the PACE garage directly to the west of Joliet or St. Louis Street. And so this is a right-of-way dedication because we've got a conflict and redesign of it. And in the interim, while we're doing this construction, we'll give all those employees passes into the commuter lot until that project is complete and we reconstruct that lot. Any questions? Council Memo 100-16 is a resolution approving additional funds in the amount of $3,319 for an extension of West Bevan Drive, which is north of Douglas Street. And this allows us to use the motor fuel tax funds for the project, and it requires a resolution before we can expend those funds. Where did it go? Not in my packet. I'm sorry. Apparently missing from my packet was Council Memo 98-16, which was a late arrival. It's a substantial amendment to the annual action plans for our consolidated plan for the Home Investment Partnership Program. And this is a HUD program that allows us to use these home funds for new construction in the Forest Park and the southeast side area of the city. These are plans that have to be on file in a timely fashion before we can expend those funds for those purposes. I'll move on to Council Memo 101, which is an intergovernmental agreement with the Will County Forest Preserve District concerning a public utility license agreement. And it's over on Bethel Drive, Douglas Street, Kungs, Walsh, and it's Water Main Improvement Project 2016. This is a license agreement to access through their property. Cost us all of $1. But it's necessary to gain access to the property.
Mayor?
Yes.
Jim, is there a reason why that Douglas Street doesn't go through? Since railroad tracks and everything have been out for some time
Well,
there?
that's a history I'm not familiar with, and maybe some members of staff might be able to provide some insight. Or not.
Whether or not I'm right, I'll comment on it. The railroad did own that strip. I think it's 100-foot wide through there. That was railroad right-of-way. And when the subdivisions were developed, the roads, Douglas Street was just dead-ended into the at the railroad right-of-way. So the city does not own the right-of-way through there. Whether or not that would be something that would be looked at.
We haven't had any neighbors just asking for it to go through, since the Forest Preserve, I believe, does own it all now with the walking, running track.
I'm not aware of any requests that the city has had to connect that through.
Okay.
Item 102 is a resolution for execution of a professional service agreement for a police department staffing study. Like virtually every other department in the country that's experienced the economic turmoil during budget constraints, retirements, and other consequences, we're looking to an outside expert to review our current staffing, and really it's not about staffing level so much as staffing deployment. So it's a lot of statistical review of the number of calls we get, the times of day we get these calls, the types of calls that come in, to see if there's a better way to deploy our police officers and our workforce so that we're always keeping up with the call volume that we have, and also deploying the forces that we need at certain times of day. And so it may result in some overlapping and some recommendations. Soon we will have a similar type of proposal for the fire department as well. But we were ready to go with Alexander Weiss Consulting, and he is ready to start in the month of March. And then the last award of contract I wanted to review with you, item 103, which is finally, we will be able to approve as part of the Joliet Multimodal Regional Transportation Center project, the construction of the permanent platform for the Heritage Corridor and the new train station. We do have verbal approval from IDOT that they will approve this as well. It does require their concurrence, and we have reconciled the bids, and it is above the engineer's estimate, but it's been several months since those bids came in, and the state is in favor of going ahead, even though there's an additional $400,000 cost in construction charges versus the original bid because of the cost of steel and some other items that over the past months there's been increased demand and the prices have gone up. So the state is going to pay for the majority of this project. We are going to absorb our costs through the BNSF funds that we are going to receive. We're going to, the construction of the Mayor Schultz Drive parking lot, we can use MFT, or no, we would pay for that, and the Jefferson Street viaduct treatment as you're going over there would also be a city expense that would come out of the $2 million plus from the grant. Any questions? Then I do have a request for closed session after comments.
Next, we have public comments. First is Don Zweers.
Up on kind of fast. My name's Don Zweers, 2008 Westfield Road. Mr. Mayor and council members, I'm asking again, why can't all candidates use our Joliet website free and tell us who they are and why we should cast our single vote for them instead of relying on paid advertisements that are limited to a few words? We need registered voters to get active and vote based on truths. Let the candidates defend themselves in public. We've been advised not to, or you've been advised not to for fear of a lawsuit, and I shared with you what the Illinois State's Attorney's Office told me. You already have the authority to create the ordinance needed. President Roosevelt told us 84 years ago, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. He also told us our country demands bold, persistent experimentation in common sense to take method to try it. If it fails, admit it and try another. But above all, try something. I'm asking you, why not? We also ratified the 16th Amendment 103 years ago and since created a 70,000-page income tax law nobody reads, few understand, and everyone tries to avoid. I think we need change here too. Creating more tax laws isn't what we need. You can create the ordinance, but you can also support the simple tax we've used for 67 years with no problems, few avoid, and haven't asked to be eliminated. Why can't you support me on this too? People are consuming products and services their whole lives and can't avoid taxes even after they die. What happens if all governments used an adjustable consumption sales tax on all products and services created for profit as their only source of revenue? Everyone will pay the same tax regardless who they are. Illegal, visitors, American Indians, color of their skin, and how much money they have. Even governments and businesses consume and pay the same tax. Nobody escapes. All special district governments are eliminated, leaving only the federal, state, county, and local governments. And it's the local governments that issue the business license with their own regulations, 3 of which would be issue a receipt identifying what was purchased and the taxes collected, pay their employees the minimum wage that is required to live in Joliet, and deposit all earnings in their local bank, including taxes. Every person in America assumes their responsibility to government. They paid their tax, and if not, they don't belong. The federal government will ask the Federal Reserve to pay all government debts and repay them at their best rate, require governments to balance budgets, will pay everyone their pension at 55 years without further government assistance, will pay health care costs for everyone when needed, and local governments will offer the jobless a job beautifying the community at 95% their minimum wage, assisted by all taxpayers. We help each other by holding hands, and we will never break that bond. We the people. Why not? Can you support me?
Thank you, Don.
Next is Christopher Pedersen.
Okay.
Statesman IB Pro Christopher Pedersen, 702 Vine Street, Joel, Illinois 65. To this distinguished body of councilmen and councilwomen, I want to address full council, legal counsel, and Chief City Manager James Hogg in the direction of a great city of Joliet, City Chambers, Crossroads, America, and the 2017 Capital Improvement Project at North Chicago Street, the 2017 Will County Courthouse, the City of Joliet, City Chambers, Crossroads, America, State of Illinois. I feel our City Council has to place the best interests of each citizen and resident, each First West Bank employee first before our city's interests. If I could have council approve for administration.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comment? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition, or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
Second.
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl? Aye. Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Motion carried.